Shudder is special all year round, but it's Halloween, so now it's even
Yes.
more special. So what are you doing over at Shudder this year for Halloween?
We're expanding it is sort of the short answer. We truly believe in the Halloween spirit. We believe in October as a very special time of year, but we we saw something very opportune, which was that there was a Friday the 13th in September and a Friday the 13th in December. And why contain? Like, why contain
Yeah.
ourselves to 1 month, to one feeling? If our reason for existing is to court that feeling all year around, let's make it a full season. And so October is the high water mark as per usual. And I think we have one of our strongest lineups ever. But that doesn't even get into the fact that then comes November, then comes the creep tapes, then comes a collection of Japanese horror that some of which has never streamed before. Then comes a doc of Chucky and most of the Child's Play franchise. Like we're really kind of going all out for the rest of the year.
Oh, I'm so excited. There's just so many cool, amazing things coming to the to
Yes.
Shudder that I've been lucky enough to see. But tell me some of the really cool things coming in the next couple of weeks to Shudder, because there are some really good or
Okay.
that I've come recently, because I know there's been it's just been banger after banger coming to the like new
Thank
stuff
you.
coming
I
out.
I like to think so, but it's nice to hear others agree. I, I I was thinking about this yesterday, and Shudder is a curatorial service, and there's a lot of intention behind our programming. But then, as you know, as someone who sort of watches things and programs them and hosts screenings, you then find the sort of beautiful thematic connections that sometimes arise when you didn't even see them there. And I was looking this month at movies like, VHS Beyond and Daddy's Head and Mads and Azrael. And I just see this lineup of films that are identifiably horror, are excitingly horror, but they all take these really kind of insane artistic swings that I think really invigorates you when you watch them. Like every filmmaker in VHS Beyond was insanely ambitious, just to the point where you kind of can't believe what you're watching and what they were able to achieve. From skydiving to going into space and not going into space in a cheeky way, going into a space that's actually
Like
maybe the
actually,
most existentially devastating segment of the entire VHS franchise, right? And then you have Daddy's Head, which I think people would look at and say it's a haunting film, it's a paranormal film, it's a grief horror, but with a creature unlike you've ever seen, with a concept that is sort of you hear it and your head turns and you don't know what to make of it, and then you see it and then it lingers kind of in the shadows of your mind for weeks on end, and you can't believe it pulled it off like that.
yeah.
And then Mads is ostensibly an outbreak film, but it's shot in one take. It's so immersive, it's so visceral. It hands off its narrative to different characters throughout. All of those actors are stunning, especially the actor who plays Anna in the. She has the whole middle section of the film, and you're just astonished at kind of every move she makes. And then you have Azrael, and Azrael doesn't have dialogue, so it's just this like apocalyptic folk horror with no dialogue that absolutely rips. It's like full action, all blood. Samara Weaving is just like leading the charge with her kind of
Getting
peerless
her ass
presence.
kicked the whole
It's
time.
which every good
Absolutely.
horror hero does, right? Like it's something we've kind of lost the art of like here's the person you love because they get put through such a ringer. It's like kind of not since like Jane Levy or like Alison Lohman or Bruce Campbell. Like,
Right?
yeah.
Oh, it's so
So
good.
I'm just so thrilled at kind of the how satisfying all these incredible movies are, but also how bold they are. And it's and then you sort of bleed out into September, November, December, and you see In a Violent Nature and you see Oddity, and they share the same sensibilities. And you see the fact that they were able to make an original series out of Creep and make like
Yeah.
6 new stories within Creep, all of which are exciting and funny and give you that same feeling, and then take you into a whole other world of what you thought Creep was, which is amazing. We have a movie called Black Cab in November that I'm so excited about because it's an abduction thriller, it's a ghost story, and it's a role that you've never seen Nick Frost in,
Hell
and he's
yeah.
kind of full villain in a way that's deeply intimidating. So I'm excited about it all because I think hopefully what Shudder does is give everyone the space to take these swings, and they all did it, and they all like hit. They all went hard, and they all hit, and it's awesome.
It's so awesome. And it's such a great way to celebrate Halloween because I know we all have our favorites, but there's so many cool new things coming out that I think really push
Yeah,
the genre envelope, like, and
you want to
everything.
make new favorites. That's the dream, right?
Exactly, exactly. But so you're also doing the horror hotline again this
Yes.
year. Tell me a little bit about what people can expect from the horror hotline if I've never done it before.
If you've never done it before, my the thing I want to impart to you is that when you call and I answer, it's not me like picking up, giving you a movie and hanging up. I want to know how your day is, how your week's been. I want to know what sort of mood you're in, and that's how we'll get to the right recommendation. Because I kind of believe all of that informs what you want to
Oh
watch,
yeah,
and also you're a Shutter
absolutely.
member, and I think the nicest thing I've learned about doing the hotline over these past few years is just like talking to Shutter members and hearing what everyone's doing and who they are. Sometimes that extends over many years. You know, there are folks who have called ever since we started the hotline. And
That's so
not only do I
cool.
get to hear their voices, which is really lovely and familiar, but I get to hear like life updates, which is crazy, you know?
Wait, that's so cool. That's
Yeah, I mean,
wild.
I didn't have a kid when we started the hotline. Now I do. It's crazy. Like you think about that and measure it in really fun ways.
Wow. That's wild. So, okay, if I am having a Halloween party and I want to have my friends over to watch a movie, but not everyone is like a big horror fan, what on Shudder
Yes.
do you think would be appealing to the masses?
All right. I think there were a few. I
Okay.
think so. I think you queue up a double feature of two
Okay.
things on Shudder. The first of which is Late Night with the Devil,
Okay.
because I think Late Night with the Devil is very ambitious and very crowd pleasing and very fun. And if you're not hardcore, it's a movie you can really get into and really enjoy the sensibility of. And then you turn the lights a little lower and you show everyone Ghost Watch. And
Yeah.
you
Okay.
marry the thematic aesthetic of both films. But what I love about Ghost Watch is people will have a really great time watching the first half of that film because it's a little kitschy and it's a little outdated,
Yeah.
and they'll have a nice time. And then you'll start to hear a quiet descend over the whole room. And by the end of the movie, everyone will be legitimately scared. And that is the best feeling on a Halloween
Hell
night.
yeah. I love that. Yeah, Ghost Watch is the perfect Halloween movie, I think
It
personally.
is.
It is my
Yes.
favorite Halloween movie.
It's my favorite Halloween watch. Yes.
It's such a good one. And so then what are you going to be watching on Halloween this year? Is my final
Uh,
question. What are you going to be watching?
so my rotation on Halloween is typically Ghost Watch or it's
Okay.
Night of the Demons.
Okay.
Um, there's a Shudder movie we released a few years ago, an Indonesian horror movie called The Queen of Black Magic. That's sort of
Yeah.
become a big one for me because it's not set on Halloween, but I find this movie to be like the ideal of like goopy, gory mayhem. Like there's like
Yeah.
centipedes crawling in eye sockets. There's like guides cutting people. It's just so fun and so kind of like the classic Evil Dead sensibility, but like a little harsher in a really nice way. And
Yeah.
I love it. I just think it's like scary and fun and rad, and it's almost like a comfort movie, even though it's really gnarly.
Hell yeah. Well, Sam, thank you so much for talking to me about Shudder this October and beyond. We are not just October, but everyone get ready for the horror
Yes.
hotline and keep an eye out on all the amazing things coming to Shudder all throughout the rest of the year because you're going to love it.
Thank thank you for having me as usual.
Absolutely.